to say, if you will be conducting research in your thesis, like biofuel and biodiesel, and these are the things that you are going to determine. You are going to determine the cellulose, hemicellulose, and lignin content, and that is compositional analysis. Meaning, before you're going to, because this is a master's degree, so meaning to say, before you are going to conduct or you're going to have bio oil or biodiesel production, you need to have prior knowledge on your biomass. So we have compositional analysis, and they discuss that lignin, cellulose, and hemicellulose. You also do proximate analysis, and those are also being discussed. The moisture content, the volatile matter, the fixed carbon, no. So, and the ash, and that is also being discussed. You need also to determine the elemental analysis, so that we will know what are the elemental analysis, and maybe we can also have, even aside from the elemental analysis can be used in the estimate of the heating value of your biomass with some equations. And besides, you can also have analysis of the heating value of your biomass before it is being utilized into the production of bio oil or biodiesel or whatsoever biogas. No, so with that certain determination, then you can determine, for example, that if the heating value of your biomass is 10 megajoules per kilogram, and then after you produce a biodiesel, and then the biodiesel is 45 megajoules per kilogram, then meaning to say there's a big dramatic change of the heating value from 10 to 45, for example. So these are things that you need to know, and then given that certain characteristic, you can then determine as to how you are going to treat your biomass before doing the production of bioenergy production, like biogas, bio oil, or solid, or the char. No, so if the lignin is this, if the cellulose is this, and hemicellulose is this, then there are some pre-treatment that you are going to use. And of course, you need also to look into if it's acidic or something, many things that you are going to work. And then you will be having production of a bioenergy or biofuel in a solid, liquid, and gas form, depending on the temperature that you are going to do. It might also be fluidized bed reactor. It might be stationary reactor, or it might be through carbonization in the absence of oxygen. Whatever is the process that you are going to use. And then after that, if you will have the product, then you are going to characterize also the product. Why I said this? Because if you will be studying this, then you know what are the analysis that you are going to do. The same after the biofuel production, you're going to analyze the elemental analysis or the ultimate analysis. You need also to have the proximate analysis. You're going to have the heating value. You need to have, maybe if it's a liquid, viscosity. You need to determine uh, uh, the tan, or the nitrogen, tons of nitrogen that is present in there, and many other analyses that you are going to do. And then if that is really to be used as a fuel for our automobiles, and then you need to have another processing, and that's upgrading. It might be washing only, or it might be refining. So another stage of the study. After you produce the oil, you need to do the this is a master's degree, so you need to do some upgrading processes, or you need to do some maybe catalytic upgrading. So I mean to say, you need also to have some catalyst, so that your bio oil or your biogas, maybe through washing, or your solid, will be improved, and that can be used with high heating value already. No, what is important in the biofuel and the bioenergy production is that the heating value is high, and that there is no corresponding ano bang, obnoxious odor or air pollution that will be produced once your material will be used in the respective kana abang usage. No, so kana siya. So I hope you understand on this. I know that you have subject on this, and this is only to reinforce that certain subject. No, so my study in my PhD is on this field, wherein I use the sewage from the domestic wastewater plant, In other words, the sapal sa mga tae is being used it is being dried, and then through the fluidized feed reactor, I do past pyrolysis activity. I produce bio oil, and then from the bio oil, I did some catalytic upgrading using nickel impregnated material, and I produce biodiesel. And the biodiesel has a heating value comparable to diesel fuel. So if your study will be in this field when you have your thesis, then these are the things that you need to understand. No, so with that, I don't know if your classmate has something to ask on the report of Leomar and Renz. Any question from the group? Wala? Or wala mo diha? Can you react kung napa ba mo diha? Okay. Apa tulo? Katulo ka po? Okay, so if there are no more questions, then we will proceed to the next group. It's already 6 o'clock. Maybe we can finish at 7 o'clock. So may I request now the next group to present your research brief so that your classmates will also have an idea on the next topic that we are going to discuss. No, kindly we welcome now Sir Martin Paragoso and Sir Raut Unipa to their presentation on their research brief. I'm now giving the virtual room to you, Sir Martin and Sir Raut.
Hello, sir. Thank you po. Good afternoon po, everyone. So, I and Ralph will discuss to you about the last topic of this subject, which is the air quality. So, Ralph will proceed.
So hello everyone. So good evening, sir, and good evening everyone. So sorry sa ako ang tingog karon medyo paos pa jud ko ang tingog karon gikan sa bilar and the activities sa among company. So we proceed now. So at this time um, we will be presenting the study entitled the Air Quality Index, calculations and analysis of pollutant impacts in Ardahan, Turkey by Hakan Selecten. So, so the study evaluates the air quality of Ardahan, Turkey using the of air pollution data collected through last 2024. The main pollutants considered in the AQI analysis whereas the PM10, sulfur, and ozone. So air pollution is important environmental and public health concern because pollutant in the atmosphere can be affect both human health and ecosystem. So the air quality index or AQI provides the simplified way of communicating air pollution level. So instead of presenting several pollutant concentration separately, so the AQI converts them into a numerical value that tells us whether air quality is good, moderate, or potentially harmful. So in this study, the researchers evaluate the air quality of Ardahan province in northeastern Turkey. Using the data collected through 2024, we have the three pollutants were emphasized in the AQR calculation. So in this study, the focus lang sila sa three pollutants which is the PM10, particulate matters, SO2, sulfur dioxide, and O3, which is the ozone. So these pollutants have differently different na concentration, which is the PM10 is strong associated with combustion, dust, and traffic. And the SO2 is commonly associated in the fossil fuel combustion, and the ozone is a secondary pollutant, meaning it can be formed in the atmosphere through photochemical reaction involving the precursor pollutant. So next slide pa part. So the objectives of this study, um, to emphasize the first, the calculated of AQI on hourly, daily, and monthly scale. Then wait lang ah. So second, determine which pollutant contributes the most poor and equality. Third, understand seasonal variations. And lastly, they recommend ways to improve AQI prediction. Okay. So the methodology, uh, if you can see na natay table dere, which is indicator or the AQI breakpoints categorized by health risk level and color indicators. So first natin nakita dia, which is PM10 in 24 hours, we have in good natay color indicators, which is the good, moderate, unhealthy for sensitive groups, unhealthy, very unhealthy, and hazardous. So kanang so last discussion na to sa previous na to nga sem kang Sir Allen, so na-discuss na siya ng mga color coding or color indicators sa about environmental or the ambient air monitoring for pollutants. So para ma-recall lang jud siya, so in PM10, in good niya nga indicators is 0.54 cubic meter ang iyang good nga indicator. Sa SO2 naman po sa 1 hour, we have 0.35 ppb ang iyang good condition. So kana nga mga kuan sa ozone pod, 0.0 to 54 ppb lang gyapon ang iyang good nga level. So ma-determine naman po nato no regarding this color indicators or health risk level, if ever nga ang analysis regarding sa mga these three pollutants is mo abide na siya sa ato ang ginatawag na standard. So maybe the environment or the ambient air pollution and the ambient air of especially sa this study by Adahan is maybe polluted na siya ang area, but in the past nga mga sa ilahang thesis, they determine the naman po. So by the next na discussion will be part of Sir Marjan Paragoso. So
Okay, thank you, Ralph.
okay.
No. So again, everyone, just to add up what Ralph said, the methodology of the study is only the data gathered during the year 2024. So those data are put into Excel, then calculated through this formula, this EQI, no? Yung high and low sa ubos, yung C concentration, ito yung mga data na na-collect from 2024. Ito namang nasa ibabaw, ito yung sa dito sa EQI. na mga high and low. Ito yung ginagamit. So I know everyone already know how to calculate the EQI because we already tackled on this. So this EQI here, the table is from US IPA EQI method, no? So ano siya? So only PM10, SO2, and O3 were included because other pollutants had incomplete data. So that's it. So for the results and discussion, according to the author, these are the level of of the PM10, SO2, and O3. No, so this is the minimum, this is the maximum, and this is the mean. And they have also the standard deviation. No, so dili na ko siya isa-sound everyone kay makita naman na ninyo. No, so as to the calculation of the study made by the author, PM10 was the most important pollutant. It contributed the most to poor air quality throughout the year. No, so highest concentration occurred during winter due to residential heating and weather condition. Another key points of the study is air quality was generally moderate. No, 123 hours had AQI values above 100. So it means pag moderate ka ni ang buti pa sa AQI, it means unhealthy for sensitive groups. No? So only 3 days had daily AQI average above 300 because pollution peaks were usually short-lived. No? And I guess we already know why the pollution peaks were usually short kay it's in the air. So after mahanginan, ma-disperse na po to siya sa lain nga lugar. So kay ang AQI man gud kay specific ra siya nga lugar, no? Mga ingana siya. No, so as you can see the graph of the study at ang PM10 daw sa February ang pinakadako, tapos ang ozone pod sa July dira nga mga month mo'y pinaka-peak pinakataas dako og ozone ana nga mga lugar. Ana nga mga bulan, ana nga mga oras, tapos nga na siya. No? So monthly average curve value for 2024. Diri pud sa ubos nga bar, this is the monthly percentage contributions of this is PM10. No, wala na nako PM19. Now, as you can see also, February the percentage is high during the month of March and April. The PM10 is the ozone is very high percentage. So yung ani ang nakolekta no nga data sa Ardahan, Turkey. No, so ozone increase during summer, higher temperature and stronger sunlight increase photochemical reaction that form ozone. No, so what are the ozone summer month here? This is March, April, no? Ngani siya no kay bisan pag diri sa Pilipinas mamangya pa ni mga summertime. So daghan ang ozone ana nga pollutant ana nga mga time. No? So sulfur dioxides had little effect as you can see sa mga graph, no? Kaning orange nga mga values, gagmay ra siya. But still delikado gyapon na siya, no? No, so is the sulfur dioxide remain at low concentrations and contributed very little to EQI. So the missing data affected EQI, no? Missing pollutant measurements sometimes made ozone appear to be the dominant pollutant even when it was not, no? So wala man tay carbon dioxide diri, wala tay PM2.5, wala tay NO2, no? So wala nato na discuss wala diri sa iyang study. So it could be nga mas taas pa to kaysa ozone. Pero ozone raman ang ilahan diri tulo raman. So muna na siyang nakabatang, no? Naka-apekto siya sa data nga it made the pollutant ozone appear to be the dominant pollutant, no? So yan na siya. So a recommendation of this is also the research gaps of this study, no? No, so future studies should integrate additional pollutants such as 2.2.5, NO2, and CO, carbon dioxide. No, and to improve monitoring data completeness. No, so develop also an artificial intelligence or ML or machine learning based methods for missing data prediction. No, kabalo naman ta adtong mga interpolation, regression using MATLAB, using mga Python learning machines. So we can use that one para mas makuha nato ang data nga wala. Na for example, nakuha nato ang data karon nga adlaw, nakuha din nato ang data sulod nga adlaw. So ang gahapon lugar wala nakuha. So nga na, so we can use AI na to predict maya na siya. Nga na iyahang kuan, research gaps kibali. No? And to validate EQI models using longer term and multi location data sheet kasi kaya kuan naman ni siya isa ra man ni kas place ang Ardahan province naman, what if yung ibang province nga na iyang mga research gaps, no, so nga na nga mga idea. So I guess Ralph will do the conclusion. Ralph, part.
Sorry, naka-off pala yung mic ko. So, sorry. So again, the inclusion naman po. So in the study, so the PM10 is the main air pollution problem in Ardahan. So in winter season, I mean, is the heating is the primary source of elevated PM10. Ozone becomes more important during the summer. The AI and machines learning can be improved in future air quality forecasting and early warning system. So in the study of Ardahan during 2024, within the good and moderate range is particularly mas shown in the data based on the data gathering of the study, the research. PM10 is the high or the primary or the peak problem in this study. And other naman po na because the area of Ardahan naman po kasi is the residential heating, have more fuel combustions with high humidity and atmospheric conditions that reduce also the pollutant dispersion. So kung PM10 man po PM10 man gud ang main problem. So yun. Therefore, we conclude that the study demonstrate that air quality management should consider the seasonal patterns and also the pollutants specific source. Not although the long term, also the short term pollutions and also the data quality. So that's all for these presentations with my group, my partner, Marjan Paragoso, Engineer Marjan Paragoso. So that's all po. In addition pa part?
Yung ano lang pala everyone, yung tawag dito. Ito dili ni siya ang anong mura ni ang data sa ano everyone ha kanang tawag ni sa minimum o maximum dili pa ni siya mong EQI. Kaya ba kani nga data kaning minimum o maximum gamiton pa ni siya diri sa high kaning high. Minusan din mo siya ning low. Kaning H diri din mo siya kwaon sa diri sa EQI. No, so wala na nako gipakita ang pag-solve kani basig kan ba. So that's all. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Sir Marjan and Sir Ralph. So you have now an idea that really when we are going to have air pollution, if your study will be in air pollution, then one thing that you are going to do is you need to determine the PM10, PM2.5, in O2 or in OX, in O2, in O is O2, and then ozone and others, no? So these are the things that you need to know, and then with that certain determination, you can then have some calculation as to how we are going to interpret, considering all of those pollutants that are present in the air. Then we can have an idea whether it's really uh, good, or if the air very polluted, no? And one way of determining that is through AQI, no? So, and that is being reported or being discussed by your classmates, no? So again, in air, there are a lot of pollution that can be found in the air. This study is about the air pollution outside in the atmosphere. But when we say air pollution, we can have air pollution outside. We can also have even indoor air pollution, no? So different po ng iyang strategy on determining indoor air pollution, because our cushion, our table, the paint on our wall, our floor, our ceiling, and etc. also has air pollution that is being emitted every day, no? So that's one thing also that some are studying the air pollution inside our house. And but the discussion that is being presented is air pollution in the atmosphere, in the outside, considering some maybe factories that are present in the larger scale in a certain country, no? So but the determinants of air pollution, the general determinants of air pollution, especially when it is in the atmosphere, are those PM10, PM2.5, SOx, NOx, O3 or O, and some others, no? So I hope you have the idea, because again, we have this research brief because to give you an idea that if you are going to study in this field, then these are the very important things that we are going to look into if you will be trying to study in this area. So from the soil, going to air, going to water, and then air, soil, water, and even biofuel and bioenergy. These are some areas of consideration that you can um, like make or have an idea as to what thesis that you are going to conduct, no? So supposedly we are going to have different research exercises on this, but considering the equipment that we have in the laboratory, and considering that we only have 6 weeks in the laboratory, that's why the very laboratory that we can conduct in the lab is the wastewater, because we have GC, and then we have some kani ang magnetic stirrer with our kani ang mga uban pa nga naa didto, na atay oven, atay autoclave. So muna nga I advise nga kana na lang, no? But you have some problem with the GC, that's the UVVs. That's the reason why that we request si Madso to come over tomorrow, no? So so that ends our